And that's why Jesus said, I am is the way. And why is that so? Because it answers all your prayers. Because the minute you are at the level of presence, the world will speak to you at that same level, and you get what you want. Now, what was my dream this morning? Well, I was dreaming that I was in a kind of a spaceship. I'm traveling at the speed of light. And the question in my mind is, how would I experience? How do I experience at different speed of light? I don't know the answer. But I woke up with many realizations. I'm going to record them now. Now, this appears to be a different topic, but it's not. It's exactly the same topic. But it's one of the thoughts that came to me upon waking up. Now, it is a stupid question, but I guess I have to confront you with it. Why do you feel very much ashamed when you are naked? You're fully naked and you're in front of other people. They're watching you. You're not alone in a private room, no. You're not just with a wife, no. You are in front of other people. And you are ashamed. And why are you ashamed? I was thinking of that. And the reason is because they can see you what you cannot see yourself. You see, they can see your back, but you can't see your back. And you can see my neck, but I can't really see my neck without a mirror. And even if I video myself and I look at my face, I'm not exactly seeing my face because I'm seeing an opposite, right? My right has become the left, and my left has become a right from my perspective. So the reason why I'm afraid to be naked is because it is because I cannot see what you can see. That frightens me, right? Why? Because you want to see what they can see so that you can at least help, so to speak, to alter the way they judge you. If you cannot see what they see, you can't defend yourself. They can see anything they like about you. They can judge you in any way, and you can't defend yourself. But if you can see what they see, what you would do is to alter the mind a little bit so you can see yourself better. And when you see yourself better, you thought that they are seeing you better, and you felt more comforted this way. More comforted psychologically, because you find yourself being seen in a better light. You're assuming that what you see of yourself, other people will see you, and as a result of which you felt better. But when you are naked, other people are going to see you what you cannot see yourself. You cannot see your own face. You cannot see your own body at the back, for example. Even if you want to see your private part, you cannot see in full. You cannot see it because, but somehow the other party can see you very clearly, but you can't see yourself very clearly. If you attempt to see your foot, for example, you can't. Because somehow the body structure is such a way that your eyes couldn't move to some areas. And you're afraid. Afraid because you couldn't see what the other party is seeing about you. So if you studied carefully what I've just said, you know what it implies? It implies you will never enter being. Why? Because being is a state whereby you are the me. You don't have to see me, but you are the me yourself. If you have to see me in order to be me, you are still trapped. And whenever you see yourself, you are not yourself because you're away from yourself. That's how you can see yourself. To be able to see me is not possible. You just only have to be me. And therefore, being me is a very frightening event. And this should explain to you right now why being naked is a very frightening event. Because you're exposing yourself to what you cannot see about yourself. I'm also making it very clear to you that being me is exactly like being naked before other people. Because you are going to be where you are and you cannot see yourself at that moment where you are. That's what being is about. So that's why some friends of mine, especially Buddhist friends of mine, to tell me if you don't have a thought about yourself, you should be at the level of being, of presence. Sounds logical. If you don't have a thought, you can be at the level of presence. That's fine. The point is that it's rather elusive, because if you say you don't have a thought, you're thinking that you don't have a thought. Isn't that right? You couldn't know that you don't have a thought if you're not thinking that you don't have a thought. So you're still having a thought. So you're still covering yourself with a thought. You're not exactly naked. You are therefore not at the level of presence. You're just simply seeing your world, but you're not where I am. So now let's go to Einstein. If you travel at the speed of light, what happens is that it is timeless. So when something is traveling at the speed of light, no time is being moved. So you cannot possibly see that something. That is why it's impossible for a spaceship to travel at the speed of light. It can travel near the speed of light, but it cannot travel at the speed of light. Because at the speed of light, if you are the light itself, it's timeless. In other words, if you were traveling at a spaceship which is traveling at the speed of light, when you come back to Earth, gosh, everybody would have grown old, but you are still young. That's proven, actually, scientifically. There are experiments being conducted for this, and it is proven that it's true. It is not a speculation of the mind. But what will shock you is this. While you were in the spaceship, it was timeless, you actually were living normal life. That's right, you were still thinking, and there was time in your movement of your thought. You were actually moving your legs and walking by, eating your food. And you may have lived 20 years in the spaceship, but when you return back home, you're still young. That's what will shock you. So in other words, you were living while you were not really living to the people on earth. So in other words, to the people on earth, you are kind of eternal, right? Because they grew old, but you didn't. But you still were having a good time in the spaceship. You know, what I'm trying to say is this. Every human person, every body, is vibrating at a different frequency from the other body. We are all different because our vibration, internal vibration, is different from each other. In others, we have a different time zone. I may be living slower than you. You may be living faster than me. Well, I don't know. But there's a slight difference. And because of this slight difference, we don't really communicate with each other. We cannot. Because we are in different space-time, superimposed with each other, but we're never meeting each other at the same place. That's why it's very important when you communicate with your friends, you have to resonate with the friend. In others, you have to be at the same frequency with your friend. For otherwise, there's really no communication. That's why in my previous dream, I had an experience whereby everybody is in a different cell, and we couldn't communicate. And the only place where I could communicate with him was when I could hear his voice inside me. And only when I could hear the voice fills up me, and I and the other person become one because of this resonance. That is why in all my videos I always emphasize that unless you can return into breath, you are never really at the place of me. Because you are only at a certain time zone. And you are not exactly where you are. Because you're only seeing with a covering of the thought. And whatever you're seeing, whether it's yourself or other people, is only with a covering of a thought. There is no experience of me whatsoever. In order to have the experience of me, you have to enter breath. You have to hear the voice within yourself. The voice that comes from the other party must also be heard within yourself. There's a resonance. And this is being. Okay, now let's go back to the spaceship. This is where my today's dream is affecting me. You see, when I'm in a spaceship and the spaceship is traveling at the speed of light, why am I still living a normal life? I said that, right? Yeah, I am still living a normal life. And the reason is because my thoughts were still moving. I was living at the level of my own thoughts. And everybody is doing the same thing too. So because I'm at the level of my thoughts, my true observer is also at the level of the thought. And that's why I'm not at the state of being. In order for me to be at the state of being, my thought, my true observer, must travel in resonance with my thought. And this is what I did. After 10 years of meditation, when I observed my thought, I cannot understand how it happened, but I resonate to the thought. And suddenly, I became breath. And the thought itself becomes breath. I enter into being. And you don't know what it's like, I am afraid so. You don't know what it's like to be me. For all your life, you have lived only as a thought me. You never know what it is to be me. But the Bible, the Torah, challenges you to discover I am that I am. For that is the only place where it is eternal. For I, the Lord your God, changes not. And this is exactly how what the angel told me became true. The angel told me that I have to bring the yin and yang together, two opposites together, so that they are kind of nullified. And there I should speak in between. That's right. When my observer watches a thought, my observer is the opposite of the thought. So when I observe my thought with equal resonance, what happens is that it changes breath. It becomes a voice. That's what the angel told me, that I must speak in between the two opposites, and there all my prayers will be answered. You see, in our everyday state of life, all of us are so afraid to be naked. We are so afraid to be as I am. And so what we did was we covered ourselves with thoughts, and we live in that thought. And living in that thought is like living in a certain vibration or frequency. And you go through life in that frequency. And so your mind right now is vibrating at that frequency. And everybody is living in their own frequency. So we are covered up, and we are never presence. No, we are never where I am. We are just only simply living in a belief of myself. And no doubt, you feel comfortable. You feel comfortable because you believe yourself to be a certain way. And you thought that other people think of yourself in a certain way as well, the same way that you think of yourself. And so you feel comfortable. But the truth is that you're scared to undress. You're scared to allow people to see you where you cannot see yourself. You're so totally frightened. But, I want to tell you the truth. Presence is being. Presence is not about seeing yourself. So in the state of presence, you are totally frightened. And that's what Adam and Eve was, totally frightened when they felt themselves naked. And so they immediately seek to cover themselves with clothes. That's what's happening to you. But by covering yourself with clothes and by not living a life of presence, you are not at the speed of light. And the world and you are separated. And what you want to achieve, you cannot get. Because the world is not you. And that's why Jesus said, I am is the way. And why is that so? Because it answers all your prayers. Because the minute you are at the level of presence, the world will speak to you at that same level, and you get what you want.